I was in an AAV. It's a tank. I learned to appreciate people being with me more because at the end of the day, when you're sleeping in a field or in the desert and you got two guys in a big steel box, they'll shoot anyone that tries to shoot you. And they were my family, man.
Hello?
Hello.
Hi.
What's up, Geck? How we doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Oh, good. This is Randy Bobandy. How are you? Oh, shit. I just said that.
What said what? What's the matter?
Oh, no, nothing. I said, how are you twice?
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. Randy Bobandy. Okay, so Randy Bobandy, I have to say, I saw you in the chat earlier, and you said, I apologize for my behavior. What were What were you apologizing for?
So I've been watching for a couple months, and no, I noticed, like, I feel like there's a lot of people that lie, and I got hammered drunk last week. And I was like, you know what? A lot of people got to stop lying. So I said it in the chat. And it was like incredibly poorly timed. Like it was after that crazy call last Monday.
Okay. So you basically were in the chat like, oh, everyone here is lying?
No. But I actually called last week because I got a crazy story, and I think you'd want to hear it.
All right, hit me.
All right. So when I was 14, so I'm 24 now. But
You're
when
24?
I was 4, yeah.
I thought you were like in your 40s.
Oh no, I just live in Maine. We all talk like this.
Continue.
Yeah, but so when I was 14, I was at Boy Scout camp in New Hampshire, and that's actually where I grew up. And we were all camped out on top of this mountain, and the counselors that were with us got a call from the bottom of the mountain, and they said there was a crazy storm coming in. And so we kind of weighed out our options in the campsite, and we decided instead of, a bunch of kids being halfway down a mountain on a bald face, we were going to like kind of try out our luck at the top of the mountain where we kind of had some cover. And we actually ended up getting struck by lightning. So that was wild. So yeah, it was, it wasn't direct, it was indirectly, but it was like the ground got struck in a group of like 25 kids. And so we were all like soaking wet in this thunderstorm, and then you add electricity into the mix. And like, dude, I'm convinced I like died for like a split second, bro.
Okay. Like, what was death like? Tell us, please.
Well, and can I tell you one more thing? I wasn't sure of this until I got into a car accident in 2018, and I had the same experience happen to me, where we slid off the road and we hit a telephone pole in a Bronco in North Carolina when I was in the military, and I had the same experience happen where everything just kind of went purple, and it kind of looked veiny, but it was crazy, and I didn't realize what had happened during the whole lightning thing, because I thought it was just like you get struck by lightning and it's like, oh fuck, you got electrocuted. Because like I went blind for a little bit and I went deaf for a little bit. It wasn't like crazy, it was like for a few minutes, and then it was like when I could see again, like all my muscles were contracted, and it was nuts. And so all of us finally came to, and we started doing our thing, and like all of us kind of realized this weird thing had happened, but none of us kind of talked about it. And then after this car accident, the same thing happened. But after the car accident, I felt like I was kind of looking down at my body, right? And because I looked down at the whole thing, and it was after I saw this like purple, like veiny whatever. It was kind of like, you look at the inside of your eyeballs, and or like in the inside of your eyelids with your eyes closed,
Oh yeah, it's funny that you said everything. I've heard of everything going black. I've heard of seeing the light, but I have never heard of this purple before.
Oh, I mean, it wasn't like, you know, like a vivid purple. I would compare it to like you close your eyes and you like look at the sun. You know?
That's more of an orange.
Well, I mean like, yeah.
Not to correct your near-death experience with my details.
Yeah. No. I'm glad you're not like, you know, all my friends that like talk to my parents, they're like, no, you're bullshit. And my parents are like, no, this kid actually got struck by lightning. And it's like, my parents met me at the hospital. Don't worry.
So is it not true that when you get struck by lightning, that kind of means you can never get struck by it again? That's a myth,
I mean, right? They say that, but you know, you have to get struck by lightning once to get struck twice. You know what I'm saying?
Hold on. Don't move on. I want to figure out what you mean by that. You have to get struck by lightning once to get struck by lightning twice.
Well, it's
that
like
makes a lot of
catch.
Sense.
It's like, you know, it's like a catch-22. You know, you got to do something to move on, but you gotta, but you can't move on until you do that thing or something. Like you got to move on to do the thing to move on to begin with.
Yeah,
you know?
Something like that.
I feel like, you know, you're catching me at my 10 o'clock ramblings here, but
what? I'm curious. What's your name again?
Randy.
Randy. All right. So
Randy, and that's
hammered.
my actual name. I like to get hammered. You know, I used to be in the Marine Corps. I like to, you know, I used to build ships. I used to operate heavy equipment. You know, I work hard. I play harder. You know, it's just the way I do.
What's the rest of your life like? What's going on with you? You're out of the military, right?
I am. Yeah, I'm glad you asked. I was watching your show, and I mean, I don't mean to pollute your podcast with other podcasts, but your show, Theo Vaughn and Joe Rogan, you know, I spend a lot of time by myself. You know, I live alone. You know, it's funny, you know, all the girls want you when you're a Marine, but you get out and you know better than the rest of them, which it's a hard lesson to learn, but everyone's got to learn it, you know. And so, you know, I spend a lot of time alone and single, and I work on myself, you know. And I used to be a loudmouth, and I still am when I drink, obviously, but, you know, you take baby steps and you work on yourself. But I'm glad you asked, because, no, I've been working on self-improvement. And, you know, I stumble. I truly do. I stumble,
yeah,
you know,
we all do.
We can't all be perfect. But no. I applied to college just before Christmas. I got accepted to UMaine Augusta. Go Moose. I mean, I don't really care for the Moose, but I go for them. And then, yeah, so I want to be a history teacher, actually. I love history, you know, because there's a lot of lessons, a lot of important lessons to be learned from history, because a lot of people paid their blood to learn those lessons. And if we can learn from those lessons of the past, it prevents us from making those errors that, you know, that cost so dearly in the future. You know,
what's an example of a lesson that you feel like we need to learn today to not repeat from history?
You know, you mind if I step up on a soapbox or something real quick?
Sure, man. We're in this far. Let's do it.
All right. So, I mean, if I were teaching history, you know, this is my personal goal, is to teach history, not in like a high school standpoint, because high schoolers have no respect. I know a lot of high schoolers are watching this, have no respect. They're like a lot of drunk people. But, you know, I'd like to teach college history so I can be a tenured professor and eventually say, you know, history is brutal. Human civilization is the oddity from nature. You know, through violence is how we've found ourselves the security to be so civilized and be so soft and emotional. Yeah. And you need to realize that you don't have it that hard compared to people in the past. You know, my grandparents grew up in Nova Scotia without power and running water in the 1930s. You know, and my meme is still alive today. She saw a man walk on the moon, and She grew up with oxen pulling carts. You know, I think that's absolutely wild. And another thing is, you know, if you understand history a lot more, you care a lot less about race, especially being an American, you know, because, you know, my grandmother on my dad's side grew up in Nazi-occupied Norway.
Oh, shit.
And she was white. She had no privileges.
Well,
you know, and she came to America. You know, my meme and Pepe, my mother's parents, they're French speaking. Je parle un peu français. I don't, you know, you want to go to France, I'll happily translate for you. I'm very cultured for a white guy.
Well. Let me ask you a question, Randy. What? What? Like, is there a particular era of history that you want to teach?
Ooh, well, is it the U.S. or the world you want to learn about? That's the question.
Whatever you want, man.
All right. So, I mean, if I were to teach, I mean, as a whole, the 20th century. Because, you know, you see a great change in the 20th century. It went from only the poor people have horses and the rich people have cars to the rich people have horses and the poor people having cars.
Huh.
You see people walking on the ground without motor transport to a guy going to the moon in 60 years, dude. You know, that stuff. But at the same time, you see multiple genocides, and there's a lot of lessons to be learned from that.
It's crazy because, I mean, when you really think about, I'm a guy, I don't know anything about it, fucking anything, dude. But like,
no, dude, you're the Geck, dude. Hey, honestly, dude, I've been in a bad spot a lot of nights, and dude, your stream, dude, it does something, you know.
Thanks, Randy. I appreciate that, man.
Hey, I appreciate you, Geck.
Well, I gotta say, it's a little bit scary to see. I mean, if you look at the how human history has changed, like on a line graph, it's like a straight line for it's like a horizontal line for pretty much ever, and then the past like few decades, the line goes straight up in terms of like our exponential growth. It's fucking terrifying. I mean, even what I'm doing right now, like this experience of talking to these people that I've never met before, and I'm being watched by all these folks, is like it's not even remotely a human experience that was anything accessible in the past, you know. I mean, it's so new, all this social media, all this crap, and I feel like it does turn people insane because we're not meant for it at all, and you know, our brains are not logged up for that. Yeah. It's scary.
No, I totally get that, dude. Just perfect example, dude. This is my first time setting foot in a school in 7 years. Dude, I graduated high school barely in 2016. I joined the Marine Corps because they were like, hey, kid, let's go. And now I'm in college, and I see, like, I'm in person 2 days a week. I don't know how to fucking do this shit, dude. It's like, I feel like, I mean, not to knock on any homeschool kids, but I'm going to knock on some homeschool kids. I feel like, you know, everyone's as social as those weird homeschool kids, you know? It's like, and want to talk about change. I mean, I don't mean to soak up the stream here, but you want to talk about change. So my big deployment when I was in the Marine Corps, and all my friends, if they hear this, are going to give me shit, just ragging on me. But I deployed in 2019 in December. I said goodbye to my parents just before Christmas. And then we went, you know, across the Atlantic Ocean. I was an Amtracker, if there's any, you know, Amtrackers. Yeah, 1833, baby. But we went across the ocean, right? And we were at sea when COVID happened. And they told us we weren't going to touch land until we came back to America. And this was in February. We came back to America in July.
Holy shit. So you were on a boat for what?
I was on a ship, dude. I didn't see land for 5 months.
Holy crap! How'd you get food and shit? Just fishing?
Oh, so dude, if you want it, dude, look it up on YouTube. It's called a RAS, an RAS, a resupply at sea. That shit is so cool. It's a cargo ship pulls up to you, and they send zip lines over, and they just send over stuff, and that's how you get your mail. But they send over like helicopters of, mail and stuff. But I mean,
how was being at sea for 5 months?
You go crazy. I'll be honest with you. You go absolutely nuts, and you don't realize it until you get home. But dude, since I've been home, like I left. I left. People were saying, have safe. Be safe. Have a good Christmas. All this shit, and I come back, right? And I went into a bar, and someone said, "Where's your mask?" I said, "What the fuck are you talking about, dude?"
Oh, so you didn't even
I was no.
And at this time, well, so at
no.
this time, did you wait? So okay, so you were on the boat for 5 months. Did you have a phone or the internet?
Well, it's so I had a phone, but when you're thousands of miles, so international waters at 12 miles, you don't get cell reception past that. And, when you're in the middle of the ocean, you're not getting cell reception from anything. And then, fun story, my cell phone actually broke. I lent it to a buddy, and he broke it, probably watching porn or something. But,
nice.
Nice. But, but yeah, so, I mean, I had no real way of communicating with my family except for like a few laptops, but you have 300 people on a ship. No one's talked to their family in 5 months, and there's 3 laptops. Wow. No one's really going to talk to anyone. But, they'd print out the newspaper, but it was weird shit. You'd see like tens of thousands dead in New York City. Oh, they're filling trailers with bodies because they don't know what to do with them. And then at the same time, you find out that a doctor lost his license to practice because he said, "Oh, no, this guy didn't die of COVID. He died from a motorcycle accident." Weird. And it's like, oh, yeah, that's kind of questionable, So you form these weird... And then at the same time, we heard all about the George Floyd riots and stuff like that. Or no, not the George Floyd riots, but, all the other riots. So, we were all, a bunch of...
crazy time.
Yeah, black, white, all sort of races, Americans, forming our own indifferent opinions on the topic, and none of us really had a problem with each other. And a lot of us came to the conclusion, without talking to anyone who actually was the source of the problem, that people don't communicate with each other. People don't talk to each other like they're human beings.
Tell me more about the vibe on, like, to that point, people don't talk to each other, people don't communicate with each other. Tell me more about the vibe on the
ship at sea for 5 months.
Yeah. Like what? Like there's 300 of you guys. What's the community like? How is everyone interacting with each other? What are you talking about?
All right. So with the Marines, there were very few females, as you can imagine. With the sailors, there's quite a few more women in the Navy than there are Marines. So do with that information what you will. But not in a creepy way. It's more, the feeling is more somewhere between high school at sea and prison at sea, with the occasional, hey, there's a boat, everybody run to the guns. But no, it's very boring. You sit around, you smoke a lot of cigarettes, you play a lot of poker. Some people, back on what I said, people were liars. You find it's very easy to pick out a liar. When they tell the same story on a ship for 5 months and the details change. It's very easy to spot inconsistencies in stories when you hear nothing but lies for 5, 6, 7 months at a time.
What do you feel like? What do you feel like you learned from that? Because this is such an interesting experience. Like limited access to the internet, limited access to the outside world, literally isolated with 300 other people. All 300 of you guys, all coming from different spots and everything. Like,
Yeah.
That's an experience that a lot of people have not had. What do you feel like you learned from all of that?
Ooh, I learned a lot of slang. Let me tell you, I can like,
Okay.
I got buddies from LA. I got buddies from all over the country. You know, that guy from Wisconsin earlier. You know, I got buddies from Stoughton, Wisconsin. I got buddies from New York. You know, you learn a lot of shit. You learn how to talk to people like they're people, because you know, society in the military is not the same as society in normal society. You know, sorry, how people act in the military is very similar to how people act in jail. You say the wrong shit to the wrong person, and they're gonna fuck you up. You know, so you learn to carry yourself in a way where you show others respect, and you make others respect you. And well, not make, but you know, you make it so others want to respect you. Because if you want real respect, people need to want to respect you. You know.
And in your situation on that ship, what kinds of things do you feel like people would do to? What do you think commands respect in that environment?
Honesty. Honesty. Compassion. You know. I'm not claiming to be perfect, but of course, you know, I was in a vehicle crew, you know, and have you seen the movie Fury?
I'm familiar with it, but I've never seen it.
Okay, so I mean, I'm not gonna say, oh, it's just like Fury. It's more like Kelly's Heroes, if you've ever seen that with you know, Clint Eastwood and Donald. It's a very good movie if you're into World War II, but it's actually about a heist. But anyway, no, you know, you live in a. I was in an AAV. If you want to Google that, or if you ever play Battlefield 3, it's that thing that looks like a tank that no one wants to use because it's not quite a tank. But at the end of the day, it's a tank, you know. So you live inside of it with your two other crewmen. I was a crew chief, so I sat in the turret, and I had a driver and I had a rear crewman, and they were my family, man. You know, because at the end of the day, when you're sleeping in a field or in the desert, and you got no one with you, you got two guys in a big steel box.
Yeah. And
they'll hang out with you, and they'll talk with you, and they'll smoke cigarettes with you, and you know, they'll shoot anyone that tries to shoot you, and you know that. And you know what? To answer your question, that's I think I learned to appreciate people being with me more.
Yeah. You know, to that point, I want to say to that point, I've been thinking about this more. Like, because you're on a ship with dudes. You didn't pick these guys. They're just like the guys that you're with. And I'm trying to learn more, like, when I'm around people, like, I think there's this thing when you're around folks, like, you want them to be a certain way, or you wish somebody acted differently or something, but, like, just appreciating the folks around you exactly for who they are, and just the fact that they are the folks around you right now, you know, save for anyone being like hostile or anything like that. Like, they're the folks around you. They're not perfect. They're not going to act exactly how you want them to, but they're it's just exactly what you're saying. Like, it's just an honor to be around people in general in this world, you know.
Yeah, it's an honor to be around people, and you know what? Exactly. Because, you know, anyone who knows me will tell you that there is only one Randy. And, you know, I think I don't think people realize that there's only one of everyone. You know, if you say you're one in a million, there's, you know, 8,500 people just like you. But if you say, you know, you're the only motherfucker on Twitch TV, you're actually the person that made me get Twitch TV. You're the only motherfucker that I would watch dressed as a gecko on my television in my living room right now. You know that?
Well, I'm sorry for ruining your life.
No. What I mean, I don't. If I wasn't watching you, I'd probably be watching like some YouTube video, some dudes in Cambodia building some fake mud cave or some shit. I don't know. But I mean, Yeah, I appreciate you appreciate people for a lot more than just being a face,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and when you're out there, you got time to reflect on life a lot, because I was on the scat team, which is like the small I ran to the gun when they said run to the gun, and when you go through like it's incredible though, you go through like the Straits of Gibraltar, which is, the mouth of the Mediterranean to the Atlantic. Like Perseus sailed through that shit. Hercules sailed through that shit. Some of the greatest people in history have sailed through that, and I got to sail through that. Or go through the Suez Canal. I got to sail through Egypt, or I got to go through the Strait of Hormuz. And I'm not touting that for like respect that thing, but knowing history, like history being my passion, to get to see, I went into the Black Sea and I got to see I got to sail past. I mean, granted, it was during COVID times, so that kind of made it better because I got to see things like unimpeded by like stupid tourists. And granted, I didn't see them as a tourist, but people hate Americans because we're just the tourists of the world. But if you can see things as objectively and not just being like, hey, am I in the way right now? But it was surreal to see a battlefield where so many people died. I mean, not being like, oh, that's so cool, but like these like the Australians went to fight in this battle because England said, hey, the crown needs you guys. And you got to go. And these guys had families, these were sons, fathers, brothers, husbands. And, they went.
Do you feel like, does that inspire you in some way? Like this idea that these guys, they were fighting for something greater than just themselves and their families? Like, what does that do for you?
I guess it's kind of, that part of that's kind of the reason I joined, because so when I was in high school, all my friends, they're older brothers. I grew up in southern New Hampshire, and southern New Hampshire is not a great place to live. I grew up like 20 minutes outside of Lowell, Massachusetts. If you know anything about that, I grew up. If anyone from New Hampshire knows Manch Vegas and shit, it's dirty, it's gross. People work hard and they don't make a lot of money, so I wanted to leave, man. And I wanted to go do something great. And when I was a kid, I had this weird obsession with World War II. So when Band of Brothers caught my interest and all that stuff, and you see these guys like fight and die with no care they have no regard for their life.
Yeah.
And at the end I found out why.
Why?
No one, it's because when you're in the military, when you're gone, all your friends ask, when are you coming home? When are you coming home? When are you coming home? And you get home and none of them come see you.
Huh.
And then
was that true? Was that true for you?
And it was, and it's kind of sad. And then, I mean, shit. I had a fucking Jeep Wrangler. I had a 1999 Jeep Wrangler.
Yeah.
And I drove that from North Carolina to New Hampshire every chance I got, just to go see my friends. And none of them would come see me. I mean, they would all fluff it up, be like, actually, no, I can't say that. I got one buddy, Joey. He's been my fucking big dog. He's been my big dog since like first grade.
What? Tell me about.
Oh my God.
Tell me about Joey. What's he like?
Joey's my second brother, man.
Yeah. What do you think makes you guys so close?
We lived life together. So, no, you know what makes us so close?
Tell me.
Is we met in first grade, the first day of first grade, and he was born in North Carolina. So his parents he grew up in a military family. And if he ever sees this, he's gonna beat my ass for spewing his shit. But I don't give a fuck. I'll smack his stupid face. But so he grew up in a military family.
Yeah.
And so he moved to New Hampshire the summer before first grade. And so we met the first day of first grade. And my last name starts with an M, and his last name starts with an L. So alphabetically, we just happened to sit next to each other.
Yeah.
And we just hit it off. And then it just so happened on the bus ride home, Joey is 2 streets up from mine.
Well,
holy shit. So
yeah.
now me and Joey are hanging out. And, you know, Joey's parents got divorced, and he didn't have an easy life growing up, you know.
Yeah.
I had it. I like to think I had it hard, but I know I don't.
Uh-huh.
You know, we all go through our own shit. You know, I got my own shit. I got a lot of shit, you know. But Joey had it hard. Joey had it hard earlier than I did, you know, and it doesn't get easier. That's what everyone sadly finds out as they get older, is it doesn't get easier.
Now,
and
was that the case for you? You felt like it didn't really get easier as you got older?
My life was pretty easy until I had about 11 years old. And then out of the blue, I started having like all these digestive problems. I got like really sick. Like I missed like 45 consecutive days of school. I was just like puking. I was really, really sick. But anyway, back on Joey, Geck.
Okay,
not to back up, but no,
sure,
Joey's a good dude, you know. And Joey lived a hard life, man. And his parents got divorced, and he didn't have a very stable home life at his mom's or his dad's. And then for a while, he could only live with his mom because he couldn't live with his dad. And eventually, he just started crashing in my house, you know. And we took him in. I took him in. He was my best friend, and just inherently, my parents took him in too. And I got good parents, and I'm not as thankful as I should be for my parents, you know.
Are you still close with your parents?
Not as close as I should be.
Do they live in the same place as you?
No. So I live in Maine. So I joined the Marine Corps. I left New Hampshire. I came back, and then as soon as I came back, I was quickly reminded of why I left. It's a bad heroin problem where I grew up.
Sure.
A lot of heroin, a lot of coke. I mean, you know, shit, you know. You grow up around it, you know, it's life.
Mm-hmm.
And, so I was quickly reminded of why I left in the first place. And so I started fishing around for jobs, and I was like, I worked, so back on Joey hooked it up. Joey hooked it up as soon as I got out.
What did Joey hook up?
So Joey's like the shit, dude. Like, Joey sent me mail on deployment. Joey's my only friend that sent me mail on deployment. My parents and Joey sent me mail on deployment.
Mm-hmm.
My parents and Joey. I got a brother. My parents and Joey sent me mail on deployment.
So I want to go back to one thing real quick.
Because
the reason we were talking about Joey is because you were like, you know, the sad thing about being in the military is that you go off.
Oh, Joey was always there. Joey was always there. Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't mean to trail off.
No. Well, so
I hung out with the Green Goddess earlier. So
what I'm curious about is because you said you go off into the military. Everyone's like, when are you coming home? And then you get back and no one wants to hang out with you. Do you feel like that experience kind of gave you the perspective of like, oh, these people, even if it's just Joey and mom and dad, these are the true folks, you know? Did it give you more perspective on like who? Oh, I know
who's real. I know who's real in my life. Real in my life. You know.
Yeah.
I got my parents and my brother and Joey, who's my other brother at this point.
Yeah.
So I got my parents and my siblings and the guys that were on that boat with me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. That's it. Because we're the only ones. I mean, I can't. I don't even know why I feel like I can talk about this shit. I feel like it's because I know I'll never meet you. But I don't know if you ever come to New England, let me know. If you ever come to Maine, you got a spot in my house, dude. But
well, tell me, why do you feel like you never thought you could talk about any of this stuff
with my parents?
Just any of this stuff.
I mean, with Joey, it's different. With Joe, I mean, Joey used to drive down to North Carolina. He used to drive down just to drive back with me. We used to just. I mean. Shit,
man,
I
like Joey, dude. He seems like a fucking good dude.
Joey's a real fucking dude, you know. And Joey's my best friend, dude. If Joey died, I'd fucking shoot myself at his casket, dude. Dude. If anything, I will harvest someone's soul from their body if they try and fuck with that dude. Like dude, I will Skyrim and chant crossbow your ass, dude. Like, I don't give a shit. I don't give a fuck. You don't fuck with Joey, but like, yeah, that dude, he's the realest person ever. And so he hooked it up with a job when I got out. We were plowing snow together. And
how was that?
It was good. I mean, shit. I mean, Geck, did you grow up where there's snow?
Yeah, I grew up where there was snow. There was
so you know how it works. You know how it works. It's feast or famine with the plow drivers. You know.
Yeah.
So you get fuck, dude. You get a storm, dude. You're out in that truck for 72 hours. You don't get out of the fucking driver's seat. You piss in a bottle. You eat McDonald's takeout, and you drop your blade on the pavement. And you push that snow.
Well, you were on a boat for 5 months, so I feel like a truck for 72 hours has got to be nothing for you.
Yeah, time is irrelevant to me, you know.
Yeah.
Shit, I've died twice. I know when it's, like, I'm not scared of it anymore. Dude, honestly, I know this sounds crazy, but dude, after that car accident, I was so comfortable before I woke up. There was the disembodied voice that said, "It can all be over, but if you don't want it to be, you just wake up." All you gotta do is wake up. And it was hard to wake up. It's like when you take NyQuil and your alarm's going off, but it's like, oh, fuck.
Now, with the near-death experience, it's funny. You said, I feel like there's two kinds of things. Like, a near-death experience could either make you more cautious and more, like, not afraid, but careful of death, or it could do the opposite.
Reckless. I'm reckless.
Or it could do the opposite and be like, fuck it, I can't die. Yeah, right.
I don't give a shit, and I mean, here's why too.
Tell me why.
I know how it's gonna feel. Well, shit, I don't fear death. I'm not a fan of pain. Pain isn't my favorite. I'm not scared of death. You know what's crazy? I joined the military. I didn't even almost die from anything cool. It was a car accident and lightning. I mean, I guess lightning's pretty cool, but all my friends have heard it so much the novelty is gone. I mean, I haven't even told my parents this. I tell my mom this, and I see her eyes tear up, and I get worried, so I don't even continue. I just say, "Oh yeah, I'm just joking," and I stop. But no,
so
it's
just
strange.
Joking about what?
Death. That's what I tell my mom because I don't want her to worry about me. Sure. I have a lot of friends. That either OD'd or, self-checkout.
Yeah.
But but like I said, that's just tis the way things are. You got to take it in stride. But yeah.
Your friends, let me ask you this: your friends that, like, back from where you were, that self-checked out or got addicted to drugs. What do you think? What do you think led them to that?
I don't know. I mean, shit. There was one after high school. His parents found him in his closet, and I don't know. I don't even know what led to that one. It was wild. Me and him. He was. I'm not gonna say his name in case out of respect.
Yeah.
But when I was sick back in like 6th grade, so I was 11. When I was sick, I missed a lot of school, And a lot of kids made up a lot of the rumor mill cuts. You know, that's why I'm not a big fan of
what
lies
rumors
either.
did they make up about you?
Oh, dude, it was wild. It was wild. I was 11 years old, dude. Kids were like, "Oh, he's got AIDS. He's got herpes." Meanwhile, I don't even, fuck, anyone who's got a cold sore knows herpes isn't going to make you sick for 45 days. But shit, I mean, no, but at the same time, the rumor mill wasn't even nice to me. Like, I mean, the struck by lightning thing is a testament to my luck in that regard. But like, the rumor mill wasn't even nice to me because like there were like no like hot girls coming up to me. Randy, are you okay? I heard you had cancer. Oh my God, you okay? No.
Right, you couldn't even milk the fake cancer that everyone thought you had.
No, I couldn't even milk the fake leukemia. You know, I couldn't even do that. No, it was like, whoa, Randy, we heard you like throw up a lot. What's that about? It's like, I don't know. My stomach produces too much acid.
So okay. So before we go to the present.
Oh, so yeah.
To the present. Well, what were you gonna say just now?
Oh yeah. So but one of my friends that self-checked
right. You were talking about.
He was one of the few kids other than Joey who didn't buy into the rumor mill. You know, I mean, shit. You remember when like World at War Zombies was a thing, right?
Fuck yeah, I do. I played
Dude,
that on my iPod.
me and Joey were cutting it up on Verrucht back in like the OG days, bro. Dude, we were doing it, bro. We were doing things different. Joey's a fucking real one, bro. But I got another buddy. I won't say his name, but I will say his his Mark Twain, if you will. His pen name was B-Log, you know, and all the boys loved B-Log. B-Log had a van, and dude, so we used to have these wild Halloween parties, you know.
Okay.
And we used to go, oh, dude, they were nuts. I mean, they were irresponsibly dangerous Halloween parties. Damn near Project X style Halloween parties. I was like, I mean, did you grow up where there's a lot of drugs?
No.
Like,
I mean, like pot and shit. But
I mean, pot. I mean, you know, smoking weed. You know, that was normal. That was normal for like a 12-year-old where I grew up to be like, oh yeah, you want some? You want to buy some?
But what was so crazy about these Halloween parties?
Oh, the Halloween parties. All right.
Yes.
So, dude, no, it was like, so, I mean, I don't even care if this motherfucker finds out. I'll clap his ass if he shows up.
Okay.
But Dean Sheen, there was one party. Dean Sheen, this guy, I don't even know what happened. He's like, I think he just faded into dust when Thanos snapped or some shit.
Uh-huh.
But Dean Sheen, dude. So I was at, when was this? 2014, Halloween 2014. I showed up dressed as a banana at this party, and it was big field. If anyone grew up in New England, you know how basement parties work and field parties and woods parties. Well, this was like, you know, anyone who grew up in like those weird like drug-infested rural towns understands. You know, basement parties and shit. So it was one of those weird, like, you know, everyone's going to show up. We're going to just drink crazy amounts of alcohol. We're going to have a unreasonably large fire. A couch might go in it. Who knows? But you just do a lot of drugs.
Yeah.
You just do, like, fuck.
So what happened with Dean Sheen?
So Dean Sheen showed up out of the woods one night. Like, out of the fucking woods. Dude, rolls, like, we're all sitting by this fire, and, you know, we're pretty faded. It's like 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, sure.
And we're all sitting by this fire. Dude, we're feeling pretty faded, right? We hear this, like, crack, stumble shit in the woods. And then everyone's like, oh, shit, who's got a gun? It might, I mean, I grew up in New Hampshire. It might be a bear. It might be a moose. And it's Halloween, so it's the rut. So, like, a moose, it might kill a group of teenagers. Okay. You know, he's swerved up on Jose Cuervo and Horny. He's ready to go. So Dean Sheen comes rolling out of the woods instead of, you know, And he goes, yo, what's up? And we go, Dean, what the fuck are you doing here? And he goes, I don't know. I kind of just came here from Londonderry. And we said, Dean, yeah, Londonderry's the other way. And he goes, oh, fuck. Well, anyway, anyone want to buy acid? And like 4 dudes just got up and started dropping tabs of acid with Dean Sheen in a tent. It's like weird, just wild shit would be happening at these parties, dude. And like you can't even fathom it, dude. First, man. I did. So anyway, so B-Log is at this party, and he had this like old like Dodge van, the kind with like the French doors in the back. Yeah. And he had shag carpet on the inside with a futon, and we called it the Slam Van. And dude, the Slam Van, dude, it was just a vibe, dude. It had like, we'd jam out to like Aerosmith and Led Zeppelin and shit, dude, and we'd just vibe and smoke and chill. And then one Halloween, it was another Halloween party. My grandfather died, actually, and I told my parents, I was like, hey, I'm going to go to this party. My mom like looked at me, and my mom's cool. My mom gets it, and she was like, "Hey, do what you need to do. Call me if you need to come home." And I was like,
"It's a good mom.
All right,
it's a good mom."
My mom's a fucking gangster, dude. My mom's the shit. But anyway, so me and B-Log, you know, it was me, B-Log, a few other dudes. There was probably 7 of us, and we'd chill, dude. We'd smoke, but you know, my grandfather died, and he was like my hero. You know, he was in the Army during the 50s, and he got out and he started his own construction company, and he lived a hard life.
Yeah.
And you know, when he died, you know, my friends were all there, and well, I mean, they weren't there when he died, but they were there for me.
They were there for you. I feel like you have a good like, I'll say this, Randy, you have a good cast. Like you, B-Log, Dean Sheen, and Joey. Good game. I would definitely hang out with you guys and do acid. Dude, people, do you want to know how crazy my life is? I think I have an idea of how crazy your life is.
People are more apt to believe a lie about my life than the truth. like crazy shit.
Well,
but anyway.
So listen, Randy, before we go,
oh yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to soak up all that time. I mean, I just
it was look. No, I gladly been marinating in it all. It's been really fun talking to you for all this time, man. I appreciate you sharing all this stuff.
Dude, I'm so glad I finally got on the call, dude.
Yeah, I feel like we went all over the place with this. I feel like we know a lot about. It's very funny you said that people are more inclined to believe lies about your life than the truth. I feel like we've gotten a good perspective on you, and you know, look, I want to just before we go here.
Yeah.
Give me briefly, like, your hope for the future.
My hopes for the future?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I hope I become a teacher. I hope I don't get bored with being a teacher. I mean, when I was little, I wanted to be a farmer, so I hope one day I can get old and be a farmer and just be left alone.
Well, I'll say this.
I hope everyone in the chat, though, I mean, hey, listen, just because that line says it's busy, dude, don't just say, hey, the line's busted. Wait your turn. Call again like everyone else has. Just relax, okay?
Well, Randy, let me say this. Whether or not you get bored of being a teacher, I very much doubt that your students will get bored of you.
Hey, I appreciate that, Geck.
Is there anything else you want to say to the people at the computer before we go?
No, that's really it. I'm just glad I could talk to you, dude. Hey, I hope everyone here has a great night, dude. That's it.
Hey, you take care, Randy. Thanks for calling, man.
Yeah, you too, guy.
That was a good call. I feel like that was a good cast of characters. We got fucking Dean Sheen. You know, at first I was like, oh no, he doxed Dean Sheen, but we're not gonna find Dean Sheen. There's no way that's his real name. He's not on Facebook. We're not finding Dean Sheen. And if you do find Dean Sheen, give him my number. I'd love to talk to him. Dean Sheen, Joey, D-Log. What an honor it'd be to hop on World at War Zombies with those guys and pretend like I'm in 5th grade again. Thanks for calling, Randy.
Call from
Jackson Dean.
Hello?
Hello?
How are you?
Doing good. How about you?
Doing all right. What's going on with you?
Oh, just doing some reading, listening to the stream.
What are you reading?
It's a paper about timber-driven piles.
A paper about timber-driven piles?
Well, driven timber piles. It's for a foundation support that I'm doing for a building.
You sound like an adult.
I don't think I'm an adult, man. I'm only 24.
The way reading a paper about timber support for a building that you're working on is the most adult thing I can think to do.
Okay, so this kind of leads into what I'm calling it about, because I'm in a situation where I have my dream job and I love what I do. I have fun every single day, except for it puts me in a bit of a moral dilemma, because in my job, I kind of take part in destroying the environment, and I'm just like not for that.
Is it because you cut down trees to make buildings?
Essentially, I mean, not directly, but I'm involved with the planning of like subdivisions and buildings. So yeah.
Okay. So you feel as though your job actively destroys the environment.
Right. But I'm
Okay.
big on protecting the environment, and I feel like I try and do my part to offset the bad that I've done, but I'm like, when I work on projects, I just feel bad at the end of the day about what I'm doing.
So you have your dream job, but you feel bad about doing it.
Okay, so I went to school to study asphalt as like my first, like that was like my passion in college. And I got a job out of college designing roadways and other asphalt associated infrastructure. And so it was like perfectly in line with what I wanted to do, except for as part of doing that, part of my job also is in the development business, I suppose.
Mm-hmm. What do you develop?
So I'm a civil engineer, so basically just residential and commercial structures.
All right. Well, you sound like an adult. You destroy the environment like an adult. Adults do that more than children do.
True that.
The environment. Here's my thing. What is so great about the environment that we need to not destroy it?
Well, it's just so pretty. That's my biggest thing. Is like when I go out to these sites and it's like 500 acres of beautiful forest, and I know that it's just going to be turned into 2,000 houses in the next 5 years. Like it just, it doesn't feel good.
All right. Well, I mean, people got to live somewhere, right? Or are these like just like super nice, like rich people's like second houses type of vibes?
No, honestly, man, it's all just real estate investors who are building like townhomes. And so it's not even like if it was like single family homes, like that'd be okay. But this is just like income generation for people who are already wealthy.
Look, I'm only saying this because I'm an idiot Gecko dude who doesn't know anything about how the universe works. And look, I'm sorry to piss off Greta Thunberg, but it seems as though it is humanity's destiny to destroy the environment and then die and get fucked. You know, if that was God's plan, then so be it. We destroy the trees and the air, and we kill ourselves, and then some billions of years later, something else comes up. Those dogs will still be running around, and squirrels and bacteria and shit. Well, the Earth will be fine without it, right? Because the Earth, again, this is coming from a guy in a gecko costume. The Earth created humanity, and so the Earth fucked itself in a sense.
That's a good point.
I don't know how scientific any of that was, but
no, I mean, like, everything kind of destroys its surroundings in like one way or another, right?
Yeah, but that's the nihilistic approach. That's the easy way out, which I prefer. So I mean, if you want to save the environment, I mean, how much do you care?
I feel like it's my obligation to care, but then again, like, I also do care.
All right. That's good. Well, then I don't know. I mean, what else can you do?
I don't know, man. I don't really know if there's a solution here. I just felt like I had to tell somebody, because I feel like if I tell other people, they just will accuse me of not. Or I don't know. I just felt like I had to tell somebody who wasn't involved directly in my life.
Oh, you think they'll tell you that you're an asshole?
I think they'll tell me I shouldn't have pursued the career that I did if I'm going to feel like this.
Well, that's by the way, that's a legitimate thing to tell you. I mean, if you feel horrible every day, I don't know if that's a great way to live.
Well, but yeah. But I have fun every day is the problem.
You have fun feeling. What's making you have so much fun?
It's just like challenging work in a way. Like
it's a lot of I
don't know.
It is a challenge. It is a challenge to cut down that many trees.
Yeah, that's true. You got to be efficient. Cutting down trees for sure.
Yeah, I mean, what else are you gonna do? What else is there any? Can you do anything else? What are the alternatives?
Well, so like part of the reason I got into asphalt in the first place was because asphalt's the most recycled component in construction in the world. More asphalt is reused every year than is created. And so I got into it for the purpose of trying to preserve our footprint on humanity and trying not to, worsen the effect that we've already done. But I've kind of sidestepped my way into this position.
Dude, why don't you just become an accountant or something? Why you seem distressed?
Yeah. I can never become an accountant, though. I don't know how those people do it.
They destroy the environment too. They use a lot of paper.
I think most of the things are emails nowadays.
Oh.
I feel like I haven't interacted with paper.
Listen, clearly you have some sort of desire to fuck up trees and stuff, so you could become like a paper accountant. That could be your niche.
I did used to do lumberjack sports in college, and so I got a knack for chopping down trees.
Okay. Was this helpful at all?
I feel like it was good for me just to rant. I wasn't really looking for a solution. I'm just looking to rant at somebody.
That's good.
So yeah, it helps.
Hey, look, go out into the forest and look at enjoy it while it lasts. That's all. That's the maximum amount of time you could enjoy anything for. So go out into the forest, look at the trees, and then when it comes time to destroy everything and die, then just in your heart be like, all right, this was destiny.
Yeah. Take it in while it's still there before it all gets turned into subdivisions.
Is there anything else you want to say to the people at the computer before we go?
No, I appreciate the stream and keep doing what you're doing.
Hey, I appreciate you, man. Take care.
Later.
I don't know anything about the universe, but I'm trying.